Hey everyone, Thyworm here, bringing you a solo self-found guide to boss rushing in Path of Exile 3.24. We'll go over why this is such a good strategy, what to use it for and how to set it up. This information is primarily meant for solo self-found, but of course, if Conqueror, Guardian and Synthesized maps sell well in trade, which they typically do, this strategy can also provide decent currency. Boss rushing is a concept where you primarily care about killing a boss in Path of Exile rather than, for example, putting tons of modifiers and juice on the map and killing the whole map. You can rush pinnacle bosses like the Shaper and Elder, but that is not what I'm focusing on today. We are instead focusing on killing map bosses. There are a few reasons in solo self-found to do a map boss rushing strategy. 1. It can be a lot of fun, especially with the Atlas passives in 3.24. 2. It's a great strategy to get Synthesized maps, Conqueror maps and Elder and Shaper Guardian maps. Those maps have bosses you kill for fragments, and then using those fragments you can kill pinnacle bosses like Ceres, Maven, Elder and Shaper. And the reason for doing that is because they get you Atlas passive points and unlock favored map slots. Some of those even give you void stones in order to upgrade your entire map device. 3. As we use the Maven's influence on our map device, meaning she witnesses all those map bosses, you also get to do the Maven's invitations, which provide fragments to fight the Maven. And very importantly, Maven invitations have a small chance to drop awakened support gems. It's only a few percent, but we can spam these invitations with this strategy, so it is a viable strategy and the main way I'm getting awakened support gems. 4. With the introduction of 3 Atlas passive trees, you can easily dedicate one of the 3 to this strategy, which is exactly what I did. There are a few prerequisites before you deploy the map boss rushing strategy. First, you should have cleared most of the Atlas and have access to a steady stream of tier 14 to tier 16 maps. Boss rushing only works in tier 14 maps or higher because the Maven doesn't witness lower tier maps. Second, you can do this strategy with any build, but typically faster builds will enjoy this strategy more because you get to the boss faster and that is where the loot is. Here is the philosophy behind this strategy. The whole idea is that you get to the map boss as fast as possible while clearing as much of the map as possible. Reason for getting to the map bosses fast is because the rewards are at the map bosses. And the reason for still clearing decent portions of the map is because of certain Atlas passive nodes which spawn more bosses the more monsters we killed before getting to the boss. By clearing a reasonable amount of trash and getting to bosses fast, you can kill a map boss every 2 or so minutes while getting tons of rewards. So we want to take mechanics that allow us to zoom through maps and we invest in mechanics that provide rewards but don't take too much of our time. For example, something like Breach or Ritual or Abyss or Legion with a boss rushing strategy doesn't make much sense because those mechanics take quite some time to complete. You don't want to be chasing Abyss monsters and underground shenanigans, you want to clear the map and get to the boss. So rather we take strong boxes as those are nice and fast, we take shrines as they make us really fast, you get the idea. Which brings us to the Atlas passive tree that I'm currently using. First off, I will link my tree in the description for you to copy if you want. Let me show you what I've done here in solo self-found. All of this is in no particular order as you should have enough Atlas passive tree points when you start this strategy. If you have less points than me, I would drop all the scarab nodes. Just as an honorable mention, this strategy pairs really well with other quick mechanics like Essence or Heist. Just drop the nodes that give scarabs and spend those on Heist and or Essence. I'm not doing Essence or Heist currently, however, so it's not on my map device. It's not on my Atlas either. So let's look at what is on there. Let's look at the Atlas passive tree. First, bottom left, the new leak mechanic nodes. I'm taking Fear of the Light to reduce friction when putting in a map, which you will do quite a lot. It just automates the leak mechanic. I chose to make the mod stronger as I have a good build at this point. You can reduce the effects as well for an easier time. Then, to increase zoom, I'm taking the Nico tech. Using Pact with Energy, you'll get plus max res, 105% damage and 45% movement speed, which is amazing. You will see me also taking more nodes that increase the chance for Nico to spawn. I'm taking Shrine nodes, so the +1 Shrine and the one that spawns monsters, plus the one that gives another Shrine buff. These greatly increase zoom as well, and they make you very tanky at certain times. I'm taking a good chunk of the Strongbox nodes, making them rare and corrupted. That's mandatory in my opinion. It greatly increases the chance for 6 links to drop from those things. They are corrupted, those 6 links, sure, but still worth it. I also make them reopenable. I just find that to be worth it. It's only 2 points. It's a very efficient way to spend 2 points. I chose to invest in quite a few map nodes, so I spawn enough maps to self-sustain here. I think that's important. You're also farming some map device crafts, which can be used in other strategies. I'm taking all the quantity and rarity in the center. I'm also having a bunch of scarab nodes, as scarabs are so good right now, especially in solo self-found. You can do very interesting things with those, which I'll get to in other videos. But then, of course, the main reason this strategy works, all the nodes at the top of the tree. Starting left, where we take Vivid Memories to spawn synthesized maps. We take Remnants of the Past to spawn Elder and Shaper Guardian maps. We take Conquered Conquerors to drop Conqueror maps, so those are Veritania, El Hasmin, etc. And then the keystone this whole strategy is based on destructive play, which makes the Maven spawn another 1 to 3 map bosses. And the more map monsters you've killed, the more she spawns. More map bosses are a multiplier, of course, to all the rewards we just mentioned, as those are all rewards from a map boss. Plus, you can increase those rewards even more by taking 2 more nodes. One is Chittering Champions for a 25% chance to drop a Scarab, which are typically good when combined with the Remarkable Relics node. And finally, but only take this if you have a good build, it is Thorough Exploration, empowering map bosses with Wisps, the guys from last league. These make bosses incredibly hard, so take this at your own risk. It also requires you to full clear maps in order to trigger or work, which may seem counterintuitive, but let's talk about why this single point is still a great investment in the next section, executing the strategy. First things first, I don't put any scarabs or anything else in the map device. You can, I just don't. For a 2-minute map, I don't think it's worth it, and I don't want to deal with choosing good scarabs and preparing and whatnot. I'm also not picking a map device crafting option, I just take the +8 quantity. My approach to Path of Exile is that I want to enjoy the gameplay rather than min-max everything. To some, and sometimes to me as well, min-maxing can be enjoyable, but I'm playing solo self-found, I'll never max in the first place, and I just don't care too much about it. A perfect example of that is the Thorough Exploration keynote that we just talked about. You could argue you should then full clear every map, so it triggers. I would argue instead, just take this keystone, and if your map layout provides you an easy full clear, go for it. If not, don't. We have plenty of maps to run, it is fine if you don't full clear every map and make use of the keystone in every single map. Similarly, I'm not going to prepare my maps up front, put them all in a stash tab, roll them, etc. and that 10 different times, right? You can, and I do this for other strategies, but I feel the beauty of this strategy is that it is simply not required in order for it to be effective. I just elch and go here, meaning I only use an alchemy orb and then I play the map. I basically play any map that I drop. I self-sustain in that way. Some of those maps have very favorable layouts, allowing you to easily full clear the map. Those are typically maps with open layouts like Dunes or Iceberg, or maps with a set structure where the boss is always in the same spot, like Atoll, or maps which are just one long narrow map, like Strand or Underground River. But it doesn't mean I am not running any other maps. If I'm dropping a Foundry, I'm running it, because the Maven can't witness the same map boss over and over again. She can only witness a map once, until you complete her invitation. So rather than take a sweaty approach and sort all of those 10 different maps up front, I just run the ones that I drop. Every now and then I take another 5 maps from my map tab, and that is all there is to it. As soon as Kirak has an exclamation mark above his head, that means an invitation is ready. I put an alchemy orb in it, run it, do a little prayer for awakened support gems, and that is all you have to do. I'm not going to overcomplicate things here. This strategy is actually really fast because it doesn't require any preparations apart from setting up the Atlas passive tree. And you can just run this until you're bored and want to clear juiced maps again. A final pro tip, drop a portal before you engage the boss. 4 Wisp empowered map bosses can lead to some pretty terrifying combinations from time to time, even for the best of builds. Let me finish with some closing thoughts. I do hope you try out this strategy, let me know what you think. Also, let me know if you have any suggestions. Subscribe and like for more ARPG guides, and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all, see you soon, bye bye.